Prosperity has a toll. Pay it in discipline. There is a bridge. You cannot see it. Not yet. But it is there, stretching across a canyon so wide that most men never even see the other side. On the other side, everything you have ever wanted. The house that doesn't creak with debt. The name that means something when it's spoken in a room you're not in. The children who look at you like you hung the sun. The freedom to walk into any building, any negotiation, any relationship, and know that you belong there. That is the far side of the bridge. And the bridge is built from books, not stacked for decoration. Stacked because someone laid them down, one at a time, page by page, lesson by lesson, until there was enough beneath their feet to hold their weight over the abyss. You want to cross that bridge. Everyone wants to cross that bridge. But almost no one is willing to pay the toll. Here is the truth nobody tells you at the beginning. Prosperity is not free. It was never free. It is not going to become free for you, no matter how badly you want it, no matter how long you pray for it, no matter how many times you whisper one day into the dark before you fall asleep. Prosperity has a toll booth, and the toll is not paid in money. The toll is paid in discipline. You must pay it every single day. You must pay it when you don't feel like it. You must pay it when no one is watching, when no one will ever know, when the only witness to your discipline is the empty room and your own conscience. You must pay it in the moment you wanted to sleep in and instead you stood up. You must pay it in the meal you wanted to eat and instead you didn't. You must pay it in the hour you wanted to waste and instead you built something with it. That is the toll. Nobody collects it for you. Nobody reminds you when it's due. You either pay it or you stay on this side of the canyon, watching everyone who did pay it disappear into the golden light on the other side. Every great fortune ever built by a disciplined man was built the same way. Not by luck, not by an easy road, not by a talent so rare it excused him from the toll. Persistence, a purpose so clear it could not be talked out of him, a desire so hot it had to be transmuted into daily action, or it would have burned him alive from the inside. That is the pattern. It is always the pattern. Study any man who crossed that bridge, and you will find the same footprints laid down one disciplined day at a time, long before anyone believed he would ever reach the other side. You think you want prosperity, but do you want it enough to pay for it in the coin it actually accepts? Not hope, not wishing, not vision boards and daydreams while you lie in bed at 11 in the morning telling yourself you'll start Monday. Discipline paid daily, paid in full, paid especially on the days you don't want to. Look at the man you are right now. Is he paying the toll? Or is he standing at the edge of the canyon looking across at the Golden City, complaining that the bridge hasn't been built for him yet? The bridge is never built for you. The bridge is built by you, book by book, discipline by discipline, day by day, laid down beneath your own feet, until one day you look back and you cannot believe how far you've come, and you cannot believe how close you once were to turning back. The old you wants comfort. The old you wants the toll waived. The old you wants prosperity delivered to his doorstep, gift-wrapped, no cost attached, no sacrifice required. The old you must die, because the man on the other side of that bridged the man with the name that means something, the man whose family never worries about money again, the man who built a legacy instead of just a life. That man did not get there by avoiding the toll. He got there by becoming a man who could afford it. Not with money, with character, with the kind of self-mastery that makes discipline no longer feel like a cost, but like the price of admission to a life he was always meant to live. So today you pay the toll. Today you rise when the alarm sounds, not when your body permits. Today, you do the work you'd rather avoid, because avoiding it is exactly what keeps you on this side of the canyon. Today, you guard your thoughts, because your thoughts are the currency before the currency. Master what you allow to live in your mind, and you master what you eventually build with your hands. Today, you take one more step on that bridge of books. Let me tell you what the toll actually costs. Not in vague terms, not in poetry, in specifics. It costs you the snooze button. It costs you the scroll through nothing, the hour you hand over to a screen that gives you back nothing but the residue of wasted time. It costs you the comfortable lie that you'll start tomorrow, because tomorrow, dressed up in a different date, will ask the exact same price, and you will still owe it. It costs you the friendships that only ever wanted you small, comfortable, and unchanged. Some bridges cannot be crossed while holding hands with people who refuse to walk. It costs you the identity you built out of excuses. The old story about why you can't, why your circumstances are different, why the toll doesn't apply to you the way it applies to everyone else who ever crossed. It does apply to you. It applies to everyone. That is the terrible, beautiful fairness of it. There is no version of prosperity that arrives without the toll being paid first. Not the businessman's fortune, not the artist's mastery, not the athlete's body forged through 10,000 repetitions no one filmed and no one clapped for. Every visible triumph is a receipt for invisible discipline. You only see the far side of the bridge. You do not see the years spent laying stone after stone, book after book, beneath the surface of the canyon, in silence, in doubt, in exhaustion. That is the part they don't put in the highlight reel. That is the part you must be willing to live inside of. You must become a man who does not need an audience to be disciplined. You must become a man who pays the toll in the dark, because he has decided with total, unshakable certainty that the far side of that bridge belongs to him, whether or not a single soul is watching him earn it. That is definiteness of purpose, not a vague hope that things will get better. A decision burned into you like a brand, that this is the life you are building and that no excuse, no bad morning, no lazy whisper from the old version of you is going to stop the stones from being laid. Understand something about the toll. It compounds. The discipline you pay today does not vanish. It becomes part of the bridge. It becomes weight-bearing. It holds up everything you will ever build on top of it. Skip a day, and the bridge does not collapse, but it stays exactly as long as it was yesterday. No further. No closer to the other side. Pay it again tomorrow, and the bridge grows by one more stone. This is why the men who cross rarely look impressive on any single day. Their power is not in one dramatic act. Their power is in the relentless, boring, invisible accumulation of 10,000 small tolls paid without exception. You are not looking for one heroic day. You are looking to become a man who simply does not miss. Picture the two men standing at the edge of that same canyon. One of them looks across, sees the distance, feels the size of what it will cost him, and turns back toward comfort. He tells himself a story that makes the turning back feel wise. He calls it being realistic. He calls it waiting for the right time. He calls it 100 different names, so he never has to call it what it actually is: fear of the toll. The other man looks across that same impossible distance, feels the exact same fear, and picks up the first book anyway. He does not feel more prepared than the other man. He is not smarter. He is not luckier. He is not immune to doubt. He is simply willing to pay today's toll, without needing to see the whole bridge finished in advance. That is the entire difference between the two men standing at that canyon. Not talent, willingness. You have stood at that edge before. Don't pretend you haven't. You have felt the pull of the golden city. On the other side, the version of your life with money that doesn't frighten you. A body you're proud of. A mind that isn't at war with itself. A name people speak with respect. And you have also felt the old familiar tug, backward the tug that says, rest now. You can start next week. You've earned a break you haven't actually earned yet. That tug is the old you, still alive, still bargaining, still trying to convince you that prosperity has a discount, a shortcut, a version where the toll doesn't apply. There is no discount. There has never been a discount. Here is what the toll demands of your body, that you move it daily, even when it protests, that you feed it like it is the vehicle carrying you across that canyon, not a trash bin for whatever is convenient in the moment, that you treat sleep as a discipline, not an accident, because a depleted man cannot lay stones with a steady hand. Here is what the toll demands of your mind, that you feed it with the words of men who already crossed, instead of the noise of men who never tried, that you protect your attention like it is the most valuable currency you own, because it is, that you refuse to let despair or comparison or the algorithm's endless parade of other people's highlight reels convince you that your bridge isn't real, just because you can't see the end of it yet. Here is what the toll demands of your time, that you stop treating your hours like they are infinite. They are not. Every hour you spend avoiding the work is an hour you will never get back to spend building with it. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying the men who crossed that canyon in their own generation, the industrialists, the inventors, the builders of fortunes that outlived them by 100 years. And what he found, again and again, was not a shortcut. It was a pattern of paid tolls, dressed up in different names, persistence, a mastermind of aligned minds pulling in the same direction, a desire so specific and so burning it left no room for retreat, and thought disciplined enough to be turned into action instead of left to rot as fantasy. None of it was free. All of it was earned, one uncomfortable day at a time, by men who were willing to look foolish, to be doubted, to fail in front of people who would later pretend they always believed in them. So let's be honest about where you stand right now. Maybe you have been standing at that canyon's edge for years. Maybe you've picked up a book here and there, paid a toll on your best days, and then quietly stopped when life got hard, when motivation faded, when nobody was clapping. That is not failure. That is simply where the bridge stopped growing. It is still there. Every stone you ever laid is still holding weight beneath you. The only question that matters now is whether you pick the next book up today. The old you wants a reason to wait. The old you wants permission to rest before he has earned the rest. The old you wants prosperity to feel easy, because easy feels safe, and safe feels like survival. But survival was never the goal. Crossing was the goal. You were not born to stand at the edge of that canyon your entire life, watching the golden light on the far side and telling yourself a story about why it isn't for you. You were born to build, to lay stone after stone, page after page, disciplined day after disciplined day, until the bridge beneath your feet is strong enough to carry not just you, but everyone who comes after you, your name, your children, your legacy, walking across ground you paid for in sweat they will never see. Pay the toll today, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, not when you feel ready, because readiness is a feeling, and feelings were never part of the toll's terms. Rise earlier than your body wants to. Do the work your mind keeps negotiating around. Guard your thoughts like they are the blueprint for everything you are about to build. Choose the version of yourself who lays one more stone today, even though the bridge still looks impossibly long, even though the other side is still too far to see clearly. One day, and you will not know which day it is until it has already happened, you will look down and realize you are no longer standing at the edge of that canyon. You are standing beneath a golden archway. You crossed it while you were busy paying the toll every single day, not looking up, not waiting for applause, not needing anyone to witness the cost you crossed it. That is prosperity. Not a lottery ticket, not an accident, not a gift handed down to men who simply wanted it more than everyone else. A toll, paid in full, one disciplined day at a time, by a man who refused to turn back. Pay it today.